Perfect. So we'll get started at least now. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Roxanne Kennedy. I'm with Kansas State University Online. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we're going to be talking about our elementary education bachelor's program. So I'm going to just quickly get started about how this evening is going to work and just kind of some Zoom guidelines as we're going through this webinar together. So I'm joined by my colleague, Sarah Kells, who's also with the admissions team. So you might have seen us in emails before. I promise we are very friendly people. So please feel free to reach out to us after the presentation as well. So we're going to have a couple different structures to how this is going to work. So we're going to let our wonderful panelists talk about their program, about like a 30-minute presentation, talking about the elementary education program, how to apply, all the wonderful resources that come with that. And then we'll also have time at the end, about 10 to 15 minutes, where we'll answer questions that you have for us. So there's a couple ways that you can ask those questions. And so I'll take a second just to explain the Zoom resources for you now. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll have a Q&A box. So that'll be an option where you can ask questions to us. So if you have any questions, as the presentation is going on, things that you say, oh, I'd really love to get, more information about this, can I ask this question? You're welcome to fill in with that Q&A box down there. And then we also have a chat feature. So if you are, having questions, you're welcome to use that as well. With the Q&A function, we'll be answering questions as the presentation is going on, but we may also save your question to the end so they can be answered live by our participants. We're joined tonight by Dr. Lori Levine, Sarah Parton, and Marcus Kidd from our College of Education. They'll be talking more about, again, the program. And really, we're just super excited to have you all joining us. So thank you so much. I will turn it over to our presenters if you want to get started.
Thank you, Roxy. I'll go back to that slide. If you want to put in the Q&A where you are from, where you're viewing from, or what you consider your home base, that would be great. We can kind of see who's here. So I am Dr. Lori Levine, and I coordinate the Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education online program at K-State in the College of Ed. And I'm excited that I can share a little bit about our program with you tonight and hopefully get you very interested and show you why you should apply to this fabulous program. So it is innovative, and we'll explain why tonight, but it is for incoming freshmen that want to do all 4 years online at K-State. It is for current students at K-State that want to transfer from on-campus residential to online, and it is for anyone that has any previous college credits. You can transfer those college credits to K-State, and I would say it's perfect for paraprofessionals or working professionals who want to keep working while they're finishing their bachelor's degree and doing their student teaching. So what makes us innovative is that we allow you to make a real impact in the classroom in your home community. So you can earn your bachelor's degree with recommendation for Kansas initial licensure. You'll complete all of your classes 100% online. And most of those classes are delivered in an asynchronous fashion, which means you don't have live meetings, but you can really work on your own time and your own schedule. And you get to do field experiences in local accredited elementary schools in your home community. So you get a lot of choice in our program where you want to be, and even down to the grade level that you prefer and specific schools and districts that you would like to be in. So Marcus, I'd like to have you join in here.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Levine. So welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name is Marcus, and I'm our Assistant Director for Enrollment Management in the college, and I'm excited to be here to share more about the online program for elementary education. So in its entirety, right, the program is 120 credit hours. And so with that, when you kind of split that down evenly to your semesters, what it takes is around like 14 to 15 hours per semester for you to work towards that even experience towards graduation. And so if you are a student that has a number of credits coming from a community college or some sort of other institution, then we take a look at all of that. And then Sarah's going to talk about that transfer piece in just a little bit. But generally speaking, for our community college students, really, if you have like up to 60 credit hours, if you have those 60 credit hours, then you transferring in, all you have left is just those 60 remaining. And as Dr. Levine said, just to echo it, it's all online. So it's all meant to really be strategic for you to be able to finish your degree wherever you are.
So Sarah, do you want to talk about transferring, since you're our transfer student success coordinator?
Yes, of course. So, like Dr. Levine mentioned, I am Sarah and I am the student success coordinator in the College of Education. And so I am a liaison for you to utilize, just like a few of our advisors are, but I will help you specifically with the application and admittance process. So, if you're curious about how classes will transfer in coming into K-State, you can follow this link that's listed on the slide right here. And it's basically our transfer equivalency site. It allows you to pull up the university that you attend, as well as any classes that you may have taken, and it allows you to plug in those courses to find out how they'll exactly transfer over and what they'll count for once you're at K-State. You will, and then also, like it mentions there, you will also be assigned an advisor. If you do decide to complete the program online, it'll be with Michelle, and she's a wonderful advisor, and she works very closely with all of her online students to make sure that they are completing their degree and making sure that they're tracking through the program with good progress, and assisting them with whatever else they may need.
Fantastic. Thank you. So once you're in K-State and you get to our professional program, which would be basically your last 60 credits that you have to complete, you would follow a learning community model. So you'll be with the same group of students from start to finish, pretty much semester by semester. You get to start into the professional program right away if you already have completed 60 hours that you're transferring in. So you can complete this degree in as little as 2 years. Students form a really tightly knit cohort and they take classes together throughout the program. My students have their own kind of chat groups and Facebook groups, and they really feel like they are part of a community, even though they're coming from all over the globe. You'll work very closely with me and your other instructors to ensure your success, and we provide support for whatever happens. So if students are finding out that they're going to have a baby and they need to delay a semester or they need to speed something up because of that, we take care of that. Just whatever comes along in life, we help support you, and that's what we're here for as part of that community learning model. Marcus, do you want to talk a little bit about field experience?
Absolutely. And so what's great is that with having an in-person program and an online program, one of the pieces that we wanted to make sure was a consistent piece of the fabric of it, no matter which way you're doing it, is the field experiences. And so, as Dr. Levine mentioned, as Sarah mentioned, if you're going through this program and you're like not anywhere near the physical campus of K-State, no problem, we got you covered. And so we work with the schools that are in your communities that are close to you to make sure that you get placed. Before we started tonight, Dr. Levine was talking about how she has a student that's doing student teaching in Japan, or doing one of their field experiences in Japan, and having another one do it in Germany. So the real piece is going to be that it has to be just a U.S. owned territory. That's going to be the biggest thing, along with making sure that a school is accredited with their state Department of Education, if we're talking about the United States. But again, we got you covered throughout the entire program. We'll talk a little bit more about those specific pieces in a bit. But when you get into your block classes, when you get into your final semester, again, we will help facilitate that part for you to make sure that you get placed. And so for the licensing side,
yeah, go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry, did not mean to cut you off, Dr. Levine. So for the licensing side, right? Of course, for a lot of the students that are on campus, we work to make sure that they get licensed in the state of Kansas. If that does not apply to you, then again, we'll still work with you to do that. What's really cool, we don't have the link on our page, but on our website, we have this really big US map, and it allows you to click on any other state other than Kansas, and it loads up with the way that you can see the updated requirements for that specific state to get your teaching license in. Majority of the time, again, for our in-person or on-campus students, we'll tell them to like get licensed in Kansas because it typically makes it easier for you to be licensed elsewhere. But again, if you don't live anywhere near Kansas, then again, no problem. We can still work with you to make sure that those reciprocal agreements are fulfilled.
Sarah, do you want to talk about testing?
Sure. So part of becoming a teacher means being licensed to teach. And so in order to do that, you have to basically not necessarily prove, but show that you've got the knowledge to teach your field and your content or teach certain age levels. And so one of the Kansas State Department of Education required tests is called the Content Knowledge for Teachers test for elementary schools. And that is about 4 tests. It takes about 4 hours. You do not have to take it all at once, which is really nice, but some people do. So that's completely up to you. Each content test is about an hour though. And so you can take those at your availability. And then you've also got the Educational Testing Services, which administers the praxis test for future educators. You can take the test, like I said, nationwide, and it sort of depends on the contents that you're taking for the price. And the link was dropped in the chat, so you can examine that a little closer below. You can also talk to an advisor, like we mentioned earlier, about licensing. And if you want to add subjects or test to a different level, perhaps if you're teaching a specific content area, or if you're in elementary school or elementary education major, you can add the opportunity to test up if you feel like you would be able to do that. That is more than an opportunity. And so you can have the opportunity to do that. And then a couple of other licensure items that you'll need is background check and fingerprinting, which is about $50. And then you'll need the application fee for the actual license, which is about $60.
One thing I'll share really fast too is that, as you go through the process of being a student here, really just to kind of help tie it all back, right? Tie it all back full circle. Your advisor is going to mention these pieces to you, right? So when you get to that part, like while you're doing your block classes, your professional classes, before you get into your final semester of student teaching, you'll be getting reminders. Trust us, you'll be getting reminders. One of the pieces that's unique about K-State and the College of Education is how we do advising. And so we practice what we call a professional advising model. Part of the experience with that is the opportunity to interact with your advisor at least once per semester. That's how we ensure that that the classes that you're taking, that everything's good. If we notice anything, either in relation to academic performance or GPA or anything like that, that's that meeting for the semester is typically when we're able to address all of that, along with answering your questions, all the things. But kind of switching gears to the scholarship side. So one of the really cool things about K-State is that we are a land grant institution. So for those that may not know what that is, back in like the 1860s, so a long time ago, before any of us were born, the US government allocated funds to institutions to basically help them with providing more open access to education. And so K-State is the nation's first land grant institution. And so this is really amazing that we're able to introduce what we call the land grant promise. You can see some of the information on your slide, but just to really kind of help summarize as well, ingredients for success with your land grant promise. So one is going to be filling out your FAFSA, and by filling that out, typically, being Pell Grant eligible is kind of what helps feed into that land grant promise. Looking at salary, overall income, you can see that $70,000 or less. That again is reported when you submit your FAFSA, and then there's some other eligibility pieces in there. Really what it enables is that on top of, or with the cost of whatever the tuition is, that land grant promise really works to reduce those costs. If you have other scholarships too, basically, you know, as you can see, you can attend K-State for free. And so again, that's brand new. So we're trying to do our best to get the word out about that. You won't find that at other places. So as you may be comparing apples to apples, hopefully that's a bright, shiny apple that can really help push K-State forward to the top of your list. And so in relation to other scholarships, grants, loans, other aid that you may be thinking of. So we have quite the list to go through, but some big things to summarize that I think is important for you to kind of walk away with from today. So when you're admitted to K-State, as long as you apply before the main priority date, that is what gives you access to be eligible for the K-State General University scholarships. So I say that's round one of many, right? Another round that comes after you're admitted is our K-State Scholarship Network scholarships. And so when I try and think about those different scholarships that are available, really for the K-State Scholarship Network or the KSN, a part of that's going to be scholarships that are coming from donors. So, you know, again, a lot of the things that we get to do, one of the many things too is to solicit to donors about how we're really passionate for wanting folks to pursue an education degree. And so some donors have enabled funds to be allocated to students that are only going to education. So, you know, again, it's just one of those specific pieces that you never really know what you could find, but again, making sure that you apply by those priority dates would definitely be important. And I think either Roxy or Sarah will kind of recap on some of those important dates towards the end of our presentation. The other way is through, as we can see here, the online pathway to teaching transfer scholarship. So again, that's pretty specific with it being for transfer students and not just like domestic freshman students. The Board of Regents offers scholarships. So again, there's a whole shebang. And what's not listed here too is that there's also private scholarships, right? So you know, if you were to do a web search for education-related scholarships, who knows what you'd find? But again, these are just some of the these are just some of many that we wanted to share with you, but just know that there's a world of scholarships waiting for you that aren't on this list as well.
Sarah, do you want to talk about what happens when you get admitted?
Of course. So what will happen is once you are admitted, pretty quickly before you enroll, you'll get what we call a transcript evaluation. So we'll look at your transcript, we'll plug it into what we call our curriculum guides, and we will actually show you here's what transfers over, and here's exactly how it works into our specific curriculum. Everything will transfer. It's more a conversation of how we're plugging it in and where it's going to fit in your degree plan. So after that, you won't just be left with it to decide for yourself. You'll meet with an advisor to review those credits that you've got coming in. And then you'll also discuss long-term about how about your degree plan. You'll sit down, you'll be able to plan out your whole entire degree. And it is, of course, subject to change as you see fit. But it takes you through every semester that you plan to be with us at K-State. And including, you know, intersessions, summer, other semesters that you're wanting to take courses for. And you'll be able to do that with your advisor when you meet with them.
Great. So preparing for admission to the professional program, basically, these are just some of the things that you would be coming in with or that you would complete prior to getting admitted into the professional program in teacher education. And once you have fulfilled these requirements and you are admitted to the professional program, basically you'll have 60 credits to complete, and it looks something like this. If you were to do it in 2 years or 4 semesters, which go by very, very quickly, in your first semester at K-State, you would take what we would call Block A in fall semester. And then you would, in spring semester, take what we consider Block B coursework, and have another block of courses that you take concurrently. I teach some of the courses each semester. So I teach teaching as a career and new literacies. I also teach in spring semester the Block B practicum and teaching literacy. And then when you get to year 2, this is what we consider your Block C semester, but it's concurrent with student teaching. So you can see that you'd be taking some Block C coursework in the fall of your second year, and then you'd be finishing up in the spring of your second year. And when you look at this course, student teaching internship, EDEL 585, you see that you're splitting it, and it says 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. Usually student teaching is 12 credit hours, 12 to 15 in our program. And what makes it very unique is that it is a year-long student teaching program, and it's half days. So the benefits of doing a year-long elementary internship is that you have the flexibility to student teach in your home community at a school of your choosing, and you get to spread your typical last semester's coursework before student teaching over 2 semesters while you are student teaching. So the workload is much lighter. Of course, again, all of your coursework is online, but you're immersed in a classroom over an entire school year. So you get to start in August or early September when your students report to school. You get to start the school year and see how you set up all of your classroom routines. And then you go through the fall semester into spring semester and finish up about the first week of May, just in time for graduation. You get support from your mentor teacher over 2 semesters while you're in residency in their classroom, which is very special. And you have that flexible half-day scheduling. So most of my student teachers, I have 67 that are student teaching this year. They are in about 25 different states, all over the state of Kansas as well. And then, like Marcus said, one is student teaching in Germany and the other in Japan, and they are in Dodia classrooms on a military installation. But they are student teaching 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. Some of my interns are doing 3 full days, so they'd be getting their 20 hours in a flexible way that fits. A lot of them are paraprofessionals or long-term substitute teachers in the building where they're student teaching. So they're actually earning income while they're student teaching, which is pretty phenomenal, and it helps with the affordability of our program. So that's kind of the benefit, or what makes our program special. There's no other in the state of Kansas that offers this kind of flexibility. Does somebody want to talk about our amazing career center?
Yes, I got this. So one of the really great things about K-State is that there's a fully dedicated, fully serviced career center. So they work with students that are, of course, on campus, but they also work with students that go through K-State Online. And so when it comes time to really think critically, think holistically about your experiences in the classroom, right? You may find that you have like a basic bulleted list, but we want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when it comes time for you to start applying for jobs. And so that's where, with the Career Center, there are options such as having your resume critiqued. There's interview prep programs that are available. There's career fairs that offer both in-person and online engagement. You know, there are so many different ways that you can be ready for that career step, and we want to make sure that you know that the Career Center is here to help you. Some of those can be in more group settings. Some of those can be in one-on-one settings. So again, it's really kind of up to you. But again, it's really, when you are in the classroom and a kid is like pulling on your hair or whatever, you can still make a professional development experience out of that. So again, taking any of your experiences that you have and just really just be able to allow you to put it into words that can really help you for that next step after you graduate.
So I want to kind of wrap up our conversation and get to some questions that you might have. by sharing a little bit of feedback that I got from one of my students that graduated in May just this year. So this is Karis, and she wanted me to share this message with future students. She says, "Hey EdCats, I wanted to share a little bit about my amazing experience throughout the year-long student teaching program. This program allowed me to move back home to be with my fiance and family since I was wedding planning during this time, which was super helpful. I was able to student teach in the district that I went to school at, which was a very cool experience to come back in a different role. This program is amazing because you can work and make money while student teaching. I was able to student teach 3 days a week and substitute teach 2 days a week. Substitute teaching also gave me a great experience and looked great on my resume when applying for jobs. When interviewing for teaching positions, they would often ask what set me apart from other candidates. My answer was always that I had a full year of student teaching experience within the classroom. I was able to build better relationships with my students and see the school year from start to finish. If you are at all considering this program, go for it. It's been one of the best decisions I could have made." Okay, Sarah or Roxy, do you want to talk about what next steps people can take?
I am happy to. So, as Roxy said before, my name is Sarah Kells. Roxy and I work with online undergraduate students. So if you are ready to apply right now, the first step would be to fill out an application. I've included the link to the application there in the chat. But I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us as well. Just some upcoming dates to keep in mind. Our next start date for this program is the spring 2024 semester, and that application deadline is January 1st. By that date, we would need all of the materials for your application, including your transcripts from previous schools. So, and you can also see that May 1st is the deadline if you would like to start in the summer semester, or if you kind of want to wait and maybe start in the fall, we would just need everything by August 1st. I did also want to include some dates for FAFSA. I had pulled those up earlier. So for the scholarships for K-State Online students, November 1st is the deadline for spring scholarships. April 1st for the summer semester scholarships, and June 1st is the deadline for fall scholarships. And that's just for the online scholarships link that Roxy had put in earlier. We do offer these all 3 semesters, and you would just complete a very short application for those. We are recording this, so we will be sending a recording of this out here the next 7 days once our team edits it and posts it on YouTube. But then also, we did want to offer everyone that attended a application fee waiver. If this is something that you would like to move forward with, we would be happy to waive that fee for you. And you would just need to email us at online@ksu.edu, and Roxy and I would be happy to get that waived and help you with any questions or help with the application process.
Excellent. Do we have any questions that we can answer this evening?
I didn't see any come in the chat in the Q&A, but if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box. I know sometimes we don't have any at the moment, but you can always ask later. But any questions out there right now?
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I am really happy that we had some folks join us tonight and that we could share a little bit about the magic that we're making here in Manhattan, Kansas, and around the globe through the elementary education online programs. So I hope you'll join us and get your bachelor's degree at K-State.
We did have one question come in Can we attend graduation if we are out of state? And
Yes, absolutely. I am so excited at graduation in spring semester in May when my candidates walk across the stage, and some of them do come from out of state. And one of my students that was student teaching overseas actually flew all the way back to come to graduation, and it was really special. So I get to meet all of my online students that come to graduation in person, and I look forward to it.
that's great. One question I do get a lot that kind of ties in with that is we have some students that always ask us, what does my diploma say? Does it say K-State Online? Does it say what does it say? Even though you're an online student, you are earning your degree with Kansas State University. So you are earning the same degree. You're going to have the same diploma as everyone else that completes this program. It's taught by the same great teachers, same great curriculum. So we are happy to answer any questions, help you become a Wildcat. All right. Any other questions out there? All right. Well, again, thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight. And please let us know if we can help with anything. Have a great night.